we go.
Hey guys, this is Steve from Orlando Collector Deviants. We are here tonight with Joe. I'm not happy unless I'm covered in blood, Davison.
That's a fact. And can I just say that intro is the best intro anyone's ever done for me, ever, hands down. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. I go deep into stalking you to find those pictures.
Clearly. I loved it. It was great. I loved it. Thank you.
And also the voice behind the camera, we got Trish. I'm not really a killer, but I don't play one on TV either. Halsey?
No, I don't.
And look at that. We already got Mike Thompson saying nice intro. He liked the intro too. So there you go.
Me too. Thanks, Mike.
So how are you tonight, Joe?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. You know, I got a lot of projects closing, finishing up, and then I'm starting new projects coming up here in the next couple of weeks, and then on through next year. So I'm pretty excited.
Cool. We got Shrima 6 saying hello.
Hello.
She's coming from us from Twitch, because I forgot to tell you beforehand. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch live all at the same time. So.
Oh, Twitch, I'm out. Forget it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Hey, I like it because, you know, I get those little, one day I might be getting money from them. I doubt it, but one day I might.
I say that about everybody. One day I might get money from them.
Now, you come highly recommended from our good friend Austin and another good friend of ours, Joel D. Wynkoop.
Joel is amazing. He is literally a foundation anchor for filmmakers in the Tampa St. Pete area because he's been doing it for about 45 years here. And I feel like a lot of independent filmmakers owe Joe Wynkoop all the gratitude because he paved the way for some of us to come in and really succeed at it. But he really made the path. And Austin, I love Austin Janowski because he's just like me. He's a writer and a producer and an artist and an actor and all of it. A director. He's everything.
Oh yeah, he's one hardworking person.
He sure is.
And just so you know, he was the very first person I ever interviewed way back when.
Austin Janowski?
Yep. Because
hold on, give me 2 seconds. Hold on.
No problem.
Sorry, I got to handle this.
And while we're doing that, we'll do a little dance. Okay, guys, if you will, we are now on TikTok, so you can follow us at Orlando Collector Deviants on TikTok. And
no, don't go follow us on TikTok. There's videos you don't need to see.
You can follow us on TikTok.
Sorry.
No.
No problem.
Sorry, my cats were about to pull down an entire Halloween display on the floor. So crazy cats.
Well, that's cats for you. They do whatever they want.
They don't care. They don't care about you or your thoughts or your drinks. None of it.
Nope.
See, now my dog, he's asleep right next to me. The most I get out of him is snoring.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, my cats, I'm watching them right now. They're just, I'm looking at you. They're just being crazy right now.
Now, Mike says it's not even October yet. Doesn't matter. It's Halloween year round.
Yeah, my decor sorry, is always gothic. It always has been. My wife and I are very much into the aesthetic of the macabre and the dark and twisted kind of stuff. So we love it year round.
And
It's great.
another one who loves Halloween year round. We got Mr. Scott C. Fenster. What's up, gang? He is
Hello.
one of our local celebrities. He is the host of Monster Manor and Everything Monster with Boris. He's also gonna be not this weekend, but the next weekend. He's the official podcast for Phantasm in Orlando, the 3-day con.
I'll be there.
So
First through
you'll
third. Yep.
You'll see him and Boris. Boris is a good friend of the show, and I'll show you a little picture of Boris so you know who you're looking for at
All right.
Phantasm.
So
there's Boris.
Great. Yeah,
Can't
he's
miss him.
probably
I mean,
he's got a really small hand holding that glass. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's the glass.
Well, I was almost looking like you guys could be long lost cousins.
Well, all right, you're not wrong. I like his hat.
Because he's from the old country, so it's a little bit different. You sure you don't got any relatives from the old country?
You mean like Transylvania, the old country, or?
He doesn't really say where. All I know is it has lots of potatoes and turnips.
That sounds like my hometown in Ireland.
Well, see, there you go. Now, see, I watched some of your stuff, and like I told you, I've been watching the South of Central, which you put out last year.
Yeah.
And I saw you, and I kind of like, damn, he reminds me of Will Sasso.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Used to get Chris Farley, but what? I'm cool. I'll take all of that. Yeah, I'm them. You got it. I'm all of them.
Well, at least I'm not the only one. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Will Sasso's ever since the Mad TV days and all that. And it's like,
I'd like to feel I'm channeling Philip Seymour Hoffman without the heroin addiction.
Oh.
So maybe. I don't know.
But the heroin just makes it that much better, though, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. I guess I could find out.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed a couple comments. Boris says, howdy, like the new Borg hearing implements, Steve. Usually I had my other headphones.
One of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes it difficult with some of the hats I wear. So
yeah, me too. I usually try to go earpod, but I couldn't find them in time. So I just grabbed these off of my Xbox where I live and play Call of Duty every day.
Well, we won't hold it against you for being an Xbox fan.
All right. Well, I mean, listen, I understand there's PlayStation people and Nintendo people and Xbox people. I wasn't a video game kid growing up. I never played video games. I had a younger brother who played a lot, and I didn't like it. Sister. My younger sister played video games a lot, and she had a Sega. She had a Sega and played Sonic incessantly, and it drove me nuts to hear those rings all day long. I wasn't a video game guy. I literally sat and wrote all the time in my somewhere around starting about 15. I really started writing for real. I wrote from when I was 5. I always wrote my mom little short stories about Dracula and werewolves and shit. And she's like, "Oh, this is nice, dear." Crazy. Our son's crazy. He's gonna be a serial killer. And then, as I got older,
how many locks did they have on their bedroom door?
All of them, every one from Ace Hardware. And so I just followed in this writing. I wanted to be a writer and a comic book artist. I really wanted to do comic books. But out of high school, that wasn't happening. And I fell into, here we go, get a little bit about Joe. Right out of high school, I joined a sketch troupe called the Sidewalk Cracks out of Newport Richey. and it was a sketch comedy show with about 5 people. And we aired every Monday night on a network called TCI Cable Channel 5. It's basically public access. Basically what YouTube is now, right? Public access was then. These kids, my son has no idea what public access is. And he's 15. He doesn't really know who I am, honestly. He just plays he's just in his room all day playing Fortnite. Or now it's GTA.
You're just a living ATM.
Basically. Yeah. Can I get a new skin? Can I get a new gun? Can I get a new
welcome to the new generation.
Yeah, I know. So I joined the sketch troupe, and we would shoot on the weekends. We'd write during the week, shoot on the weekends because it had to be ready at 10 o'clock on Monday night. And we'd edit all weekend and get the shows, half an hour show. We do about 5 or 6 sketches, or like a mock you video. Like we make up, like we redid Sabotage, and we rewrote the lyrics and made it Santa Claus. And I played Santa Claus, and basically it was set in like the 70s, like Sabotage was. And it was all about, Santa Claus. So we do something like that, and then a couple of sketches. And that led me into improv. I moved to Tampa sometime around 99, 98. And I started doing improv on stage. Never done it. Friend of mine saw the Sidewalk Cracks and was like, yo, you should move to Tampa and do an improv troupe. It's just, let's do improv. And I was like, well, I love Who's Line. How hard could it be? It's hard. Improv is hard. Whoever tells you it's not is crazy. Improv is hard. There's a lot of rules you have to learn, and there's a lot of techniques you have to know in order to do improv well. Not only that, but you have to be able to pull things off the top of your head that are topical, that fall within the rules of improv. And anyways, so I started doing improv with this group called Beat the Dead Horse. And we kind of got pretty big in the Tampa St. Pete area. We were the only improv troupe in 2000 in the area. We were doing sold out shows. I left for a period and went to Chicago to do Second City. Came back and started a new troupe called the Charming Hooligans, which is still a running improv troupe in the area with new members. I'm just an alumni now, basically. It's its own thing. The Charming Hooligans is its own entity. I'm just the founding member and an alumni.
So when you show up, they all start bowing down and saying you are God?
No, the new members have no idea who the old members are, because it's like on its 6th or 7th generation of improvisers. So there's no original cast members or subsequent cast members who know each other in the troupe anymore. The only one constant member is a gentleman by the name of Daryl Knapp, and he's basically considered the godfather of improv in the area. And then so the Charming Hooligans is still going, but I left the Hooligans and started a new troupe called the Caffeine Kids with one of my guys from the Sidewalk Cracks from back in the day. And then 2 actresses I had met on a couple different horror movies, Patty White and Victoria Trantham. And then it was me and Jason Kranick from the Charming Hooligans and Beat the Dead Horse. And then my buddy Ryan Bauer from the Sidewalk Cracks. And we started this improv troupe. And we got really big. We were becoming the improv comedy chain, the Improv. We became their in-house improv troupe every Wednesday night to sold out shows. We performed every Wednesday night, like a 2-hour show. And it was amazing because not only did we do improv, but we would turn the lights off, turn them back on, and some of the players would be in costume and we'd do a live sketch. And then we would turn the projector on and we would play a sketch that we shot during the week. And then we ended on a choreographed dance number set to, some weird techno song or something, just something ridiculous. And every week we ended the show like that. And we were getting fairly good, but then people started dating and I was like, all right. And I was moving into film anyways. I had already done a couple feature films and a couple short films. And that was really the route I was starting to go now, was the film side, because I was really I'm a big horror fan. I always have been, even though I've been doing comedy for years. I'm a horror fan. I grew up watching Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi and John Carpenter and Sean Cunningham, and just becoming a horror fan, and movies like Rawhead Rex and Pumpkinhead. These are things that were fueling me as I'm doing comedy, and I'm just like, hey, comedy, yes. Meanwhile, at home, I'm like, yeah, the horror, gore, titties, right? And so I wanted to go in that direction of doing horror comedies, really, and that's kind of the path I ended up taking, was doing horror films, horror comedies, and writing scripts. So at this point, I've written 35 screenplays, 6 novels. I've directed 10 feature films. I've acted in, I don't know, 30 or so films, and I was on Stranger Things. So basically, you're all caught up. Hi, welcome.
Okay, let's catch up on the comments real quick. Scott says, "Who needs October to usher in monsters?" Never.
Agreed.
And then Boris says, "They have a video game consoles in the old country. We have a box of games and mediocre box, as well as the popular Wheelbarrow Hero, where you navigate a rocky road on the screen with a plastic wheelbarrow controller."
That sounds like what I grew up in Ocala. So it's basically, there was the shit shovel show that was fun, and the horse manure. So I understand him. I feel him.
And then Boris says, Boris did improv. His first troupe was Overboiled Cabbage.
That sounds like a stinker.
Now, what was one of your first, well, I say either like film that actually you got out there and people watching and everything?
100 Tears. I'd have to say it'd be 100 Tears is the first film that I did, that I wrote and produced and directed. Well, Marcus Cook has a directing credit, but we directed it together. That would be the first movie that I would say that got out there that I did. I did a movie in 2000 called Unearthed. That was a horror sci-fi movie directed by Craig Kovac. It didn't really get a wide release, but that was a fun movie. But that wasn't mine. I was just in it. I was just acting in it. But 100 Tears would be the first one that I did that really got out there and known. And I don't know if you've heard of it.
A little bit.
It won a ton of awards. It won I don't know, 50 awards or something at some point.
I'm trying to see if I can pull up the picture. I had a picture of it, and now I don't know what happened to it. That's the story of my life.
It's a clown. It's a clown movie.
Hold on.
There it is. Yep. That's one of I'm not a big fan of that cover. There's a million other covers, but that one's not bad. That was very homage to Friday the 13th 3. The stabbing of the knife coming at you from the 3D. But yeah, now, so that was my first one.
You can actually get that DVD off of Amazon.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just in case anybody wanted to see it, you can.
Yeah, it was on Netflix for a while. They had it up. It was on Netflix for about a year, which is really cool.
I would definitely be crying 100 tears if I was locked in a room with that clown.
Oh, he's dangerous. That's why, it's funny, movies like Terrifier come out, and I was like, man, we did that shit 15 years ago.
And all the different pictures, and I got to pick the cover. He doesn't like that much.
I don't. Man, I don't care. I'm just saying, there's. I don't know. I like the original cover that Marcus did, which was just Gertie in the doorway. It's just really cool. And every distributor we've had has changed the cover. The German cover is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with our movie.
See, I like this one. This was another one that
That's the German one. Our clown doesn't have red hair or a red nose. I don't know whose clown that is. That's not our clown. Yeah, so I don't know. Gertie has black hair and a black nose, and that cover is clearly misrepresentation. But I love that too because I actually have that on my wall.
I mean, like I said, it's a cool looking picture. That's why
Yeah, it's why I loved it. Yeah, I was like, this is pretty dope. I like it. I printed it out. It's on my wall.
So
Yeah,
that's your clown.
Yeah, that's our clown.
There you go. See,
That's
finally
Jack
get you
Amos.
one.
Looks like
Yeah,
a
that's
serial
Jack
killer.
Amos. He is. He basically is. He's looking for his daughter who was taken from him years earlier, about 20 years earlier. His daughter was taken from him. So the whole movie really is a revenge flick about this guy, Gert. The hell is his real name? Oh my god, I can't remember Gertie's real name. Luther Edward Baxter, his real name. Luther was his daughter got taken from him when he was in the circus, and it's 20 years later, and he's looking for his daughter. So he's going back and basically killing all the old circus folk because someone knows where his daughter is and no one's telling him. And then he finds it.
I could picture the clown sitting there and saying, "I have a special set of skills."
Ah,
And, and doing like a balloon
Yeah.
animal and
right, yeah.
Stab him with a balloon animal.
yeah. Hey, killer clowns. They did,
Yeah, that was a good. I love Killer. My daughter loves Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, that's mine and my daughter's favorite movie. We
Yeah.
watch it at least once a year together, and she's 24, so we still find time. She actually came up to me the other day. She's like, "Dad, we haven't watched it yet. We need to watch it." I was like, "Well, I
Yeah.
gotta find it." So what's one of your favorite things that you like watching that's not one of your movies?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. 30 Rock. I love reality shows like Naked and Afraid. My wife watches a lot
that's
of like
fun to watch him whine.
Yeah, my wife loves like right now she's watching Dating on the Spectrum. That's a really cool show. I watch a lot
There's
of
a new one for you.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of art shows like Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman have a show called Making It, and it's a craft
Yeah, that's
show.
a good one.
I watch I love Glow Up, which is a makeup show. I love RuPaul's Drag Race. I love watching anything that's creative that people can express themselves in. I'm more fascinated about that than watching the newest movie that's out. I'd rather watch the Forged in Fire than I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
Well, what we just finished Lego Masters.
I did too. It was great. I thought the other brothers, the Castle brothers should have won. Oh, they did win, but they lost their title though. So, oh well.
Yeah, but the twins, I think the twins should have had it. I think they were robbed.
I like the
You like
other guys.
You like the Asian guys.
Yeah, they were awesome.
They were robbed all season.
They were robbed all season. I agree. Those guys were robbed. I liked the housewives, the redhead and the blonde. I thought they were very creative, but I felt they lacked a lot of ability, I think.
Well,
What the hell do I know? I don't build Legos.
Me and my daughter do.
I mean, I have built Legos, but I don't build them freehand like those guys do. I haven't done that.
Oh no, I mean they got the skills. What I couldn't. This is spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the season finale. I mean, you got I can't remember Wayne and I can't remember the Asian brothers.
Oh.
Is it? No, yeah,
but
the whole season they had everything that moved, wings and all that, and then you give me the season finale and they can't make the dragon move. Come on, that's scripted.
Yeah, for sure, or something very close to it. Yeah.
Now, see, Scott C. Finster here, he says, I know a thing or two about being robbed, because I didn't tell you, Scott Finster was on season 9 of Face Off. He was all the way down to the final 5, I believe.
He should have won.
And then he was on a second one that they brought back, and he's the only one that stayed within the limits that they said that they need to be, but still lost. And no.
Yeah. It's funny. Face Off is one of those shows that I haven't watched because it's not on streaming network. It was only on cable, and that was a while ago. And I just never was able to catch an episode of it. And I've actually worked with two guys who have won Face Off, Marcel Banks and Gage Munster. And these are two very talented effects artists. These guys are great.
Well, so I'm not tooting my own horn because Scott is almost like family to us. Well, he is family. There's no almost. He is family. And his family is my family. But he is a very good, excellent special effects artist too. And some of the jobs that he does, it just blows me away. I've been in his little studio, and you just see all these little little sculptures and Formigo faces, and all
maquettes and stuff. Yeah.
Well, he even did one for Stan Lee, one of the official Stan Lee figures that he even got to present it to Stan Lee there at MegaCon.
Wow, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, yeah, anybody who's been on Face Off, that is they're talented to begin with. And Scott says Game Face was the spinoff that he was on.
Game Face, I never even heard of that.
Yeah, it didn't. It lasted like one season.
It didn't make it.
And then Boris says, I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have is a particular set of skills: juggling, balloon animals, running in oversized shoes, and cramming myself and 49 friends into a Fiat.
That sounds like fun, actually. I'll get in a Fiat of 49 people.
I don't know, man. All that sweating.
Well, that's the fun part. Nah.
That's a no.
And Scott says no one has heard of Game Face. Hey, we watched the one episode and we got pissed with it. We never watched it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look for it now. My business partner for my company, Blood Brothers Production, is Roy Knierim. And Roy had his own show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Monster Man. He's an effects artist in LA, has a company called Soda Effects. And we just finished shooting a movie called Sorority to the Dam in LA just this last year. We're in post with it right now, and it will be finished up around March, April, and then it's going right to the drive-ins.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, so while you're at Phantasm with Scott, you guys need to talk. You guys have
for sure. Already sounds like we probably know a lot of the same people.
Oh yeah. Scott is one of those, like I said, him and all his family is our family. So I like to brag, hey, I know somebody,
Yeah.
If not, it's just me and Trish, and we don't. Yeah, okay.
That's boring.
Okay. So let's see. Let's talk about how you got onto Stranger Things. You were on the first season, right?
No, season 2.
Season 2. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You can fire me. I can leave.
You're fired. No.
Okay.
Yeah, season 2. I have a few agents, and one of my agents said I just come off of losing a show called This Is Us. I was up for the lead in that, and I didn't get it. So I was kind of bummed out. And then because that became a very big show, and now my wife can't even watch it because it was such a big loss to us. And they hadn't even started shooting This Is Us, and I was up for me and the lead who got it. He and I were up for the lead. He was also in Stranger Things, which is weird. He's in Stranger Things season 1. But so like a week later, she calls me and she's like, hey, you heard of this show called Stranger Things on Netflix? And I was like, yes, yeah, I just binged it yesterday, all 8 episodes. Why? And she's like, well, you have an audition for it. I was like, get the fuck out of here. What do you mean? And she's like, yeah. So I went to my agent and she, I did all my auditions at her office and it was like 2 lines. And I did it, didn't think anything of it. Like a week later, I got a call back. Now it was like a full scene. And I was like, okay, this is better. So I do that scene, didn't think anything of it, because you can't, when you audition, you can't think that you got the part. You just have to do it and forget about it. Otherwise, you'll stress about it all day long going, did I get the part? God, I hope I got that part. Did I get it? I need that part. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't think about it. So I did the second callback, whatever, didn't think about it. About a week later, again, I get a 6-page audition. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, they're really watching me. So I did a lot better this time. Took it a little more serious. And not that I don't take my auditions serious, but I just had an audition yesterday where it was maybe 6 lines. You cannot develop a character. I mean, some actors will argue with that, saying I could develop a character in 1 line. Okay. All right, buddy, settle down. But 6 lines is not very much to work off of. You have to kind of figure the character out in 6 lines, no context. It's just like Bob in a room talking to Janet, and you're like, okay. So you have to do your best. So, anyway, so I got 6 pages. And in auditions, you have to know that you have to be off book for an audition. You have to know those lines. And I had a 12-hour turnaround time. They wanted it back in 2 days, basically. So I did it. I did the audition and went home. Forgot about it. 2 months go by. 3 months go by. I think it was 3 months. And I'm sick. I had pneumonia. I couldn't eat. I hadn't even talked. My phone had been off for 2 days because I had just been in bed. It just died on a Friday, and I didn't even charge it because I couldn't even get out of bed. And it's so weird. I finally start to feel better. I get up. I'm eating some soup. The wife's sitting next to me. And I turn my phone on, and it's just keeps beeping. And it's my agent. She'd been calling me for 5 hours solid. I had 28 missed calls. And I was like, whoa. So I call her. It's 9 o'clock at night now. It might have been later than that. I think it was 11. And I called her, and she's like, where the fuck have you been? And I was like, well, I'm dead. I was dying. I was dead. I was literally dead in my bed for 3 days. And she's like, you got the part. And I was like, awesome. What part? Because I auditioned constantly. I had no idea what she was talking about. She goes, Stranger Things. And I said, what? And she's like, yeah, you got the part. And I said, okay. She's like, yeah, they're going to call you tomorrow and, talk about your fitting and that kind of stuff. This was, like I said, this was Friday or Thursday. Whenever it is, they called me and I had to be there on, you know what? I think it was a Tuesday because they called me and said, you need to be here next Monday. And then they called me on Wednesday and said, can you be here tomorrow? And I had to drive to Georgia from Tampa. And I did. I went up there. I did I was there for half an hour, did a fitting. That was it. I drove all the way up there. They did a fitting. It was awesome. I got to be on set for a little bit. I saw the pumpkin patch. It was really cool. It was really cool, man. And that was it. I go home, and then the AD calls me and he's like, hey, you're going to start on Wednesday or something. And I said, okay, great. Whatever you need. Then I get up there. I'm only booked for 2 episodes. And I get there, man, and I'm just having a good time. I meet Paul Reiser, and I meet Gatton, and I meet Lucas, and I meet Millie Bobby Brown, and David Harbour, and the Duffer Brothers. I meet all these guys. it's really cool. Paul Reiser was just the nicest dude. He and I would hang out, because there's a lot of downtime between changing camera and moving lights around, all that stuff. So he and I hung out a lot. We sat and talked about his kids and my kids, and we coffee and all that stuff. So it was really cool. And I finished my whoa. Look who popped up. Hi. Hi. Say hi. Which one are you?
When they're little.
Oh, you're Razzie She's a twin. She's an identical twin with a black nose.
Ah.
Over there. So I'm done, right? I'm like, man, that was great. I got 2 episodes. That's pretty fucking cool. I'm driving home. I call my agent. I said, hey, I finished up. How was it? And she's like, great. How'd they like you? I said, I don't know. I said, I think they liked me. She goes, well, I think they loved you. They just booked you for 3 more episodes. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you gotta go back next week. And then I ended up going back like 9 times. And it was really cool, man. It was a really amazing experience, which has opened up a ton of doors for me. A ton of doors.
Now, like when you're doing that where you were just there originally, how long does like 1 episode or 2 episodes take normally to film?
I don't know, because I wasn't in an entire episode. I was only in parts of like episode 1, parts of episode 2, episode 5, 6, and 8. I'm only in parts of them. They've got a whole 40-minute show they got to shoot. I'm only in like 8 minutes of each episode. So just knowing how long I was there, which was a while, I would imagine that it took them 6 months to shoot an episode. 1 episode. Maybe they moved a little faster than that, but I feel like but I'm not there, so I don't know what they're shooting all day long or what their schedule's like, or but I know that I was there a lot, probably off and on 7 or 8 weeks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Now, besides that, do you prefer acting or directing or producing?
Writing.
I
would rather write.
That's the one thing I didn't add into there.
You're bad.
I would prefer if I could get hired by like a network to be in a writer's bullpen or like a head writer, I would do that in a heartbeat. It's just like I said, I've written 35 screenplays and 6 novels, and it's something that I can do easily. The script writing for me is pretty easily attainable because it's just something I'm very passionate about. Outside of that, it'd be directing and then acting. I love acting. I love being an idiot. I just love being in a fantasy kind of world setting. That's why I love horror comedy so much. Witches and demons and zombies and werewolves and whatever. I love all that stuff.
That's cool. So, I keep telling Austin in one of his movies he's gonna have to put me in, but I just want to be the fat hobo in the back alley with just my right shoe or right foot showing.
All right.
That way when watching one of Austin's like movies, whatever, I can say, you see that foot? That's me.
Yeah. A lot of people tell me they just want to be in a movie or be the first guy killed, and I'm also that person. I'll be in any movie. Stab me, kill me, don't, whatever. I just want to work.
Well, I want to be like Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Just get all excited. That's my foot. You see that? So
yeah.
I don't want to be all up in a movie and all that. It would be nice, but it's one of those. I just want to say, I know that foot's mine. I am part of this.
Yeah. I have 3 children and 1 on the way. My wife's due in December, and none of my
Congratulations.
thank you. None of my kids really understand what I do. They know I'm on Stranger Things because they've seen it on Netflix. But like yesterday or the day before, they just discovered my 10-year-old. She discovered South of Central somehow on YouTube. I didn't show it to her, and she called me out and she's like, "Daddy, is this you?" And I came out in the living room and I looked and I was like, "How did you? What are you doing? How did you get to this?" Because it's a little adult, South of Central's a
Just a
little,
little bit, you know.
yeah, and she's like, "Well, it just came up," and I was like, "Wow." She's like, "You're on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah, baby, I'm on YouTube." And she's like, "How?" So she's like her whole world kind of like changed at that moment when she realized like it's a thing anyone can do, And she's like, "Can I be on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not now, but yeah, at some point we'll do something or whatever you want to do." And then she was just kind of quiet the rest of the night. And then like yesterday, she was like, "I have an idea for a show." And I was like, "Okay." So she's kind of been like talking about that for a day. So I think maybe her wheels are turning, and who knows what she'll come up with.
She just found out her dad was relevant. Oh.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Where my 15-year-old still doesn't care, no matter what I've done.
They don't start caring again until they're in their 20s. Then
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. He still wants that new iPhone though.
Now you also did a story for Zombies Were Human 2, right?
2. Yep, volume 2. Yeah, that was my first time. I like I said, my whole life I wanted to be a comic book person. Artist specifically, I wanted to draw for comic books. I'm a fairly decent artist, but not quality enough to be in a comic book. I don't think, but I can do storyboards and shit like that. So, and they're very detailed, and that's good. It's good enough for me to be able to get my storyboards across. But yeah, Austin asked me if I'd want to write one, and I jumped at the chance because it's one of my dreams to be in comic books, to do comic books, and to write comic books. And I was like, hell yeah, Austin, I will do that. you know. So I'm very thankful for him for that. To him for that.
Now with the comic books, what's your favorite comic that you read or used to read, currently read?
Man, I've always loved Wolverine, the Punisher, Spider-Man. I have a couple favorite issues of Spider-Man that I really like. And Batman and Justice League. I was never a big DC fan until Flash the show came out, and I started watching that, and then that kind of like I was like, man, Flash is really good, man. Like
the 90s Flash or the new Flash?
both.
Okay.
The 90s Flash I loved. I just met the guy who played Flash. I can't think of his name. Riley? That's not it. Something. Anyways, Wesley Chip.
Yeah.
Wesley Chip Jr.
Chip. Right?
Yep, Wesley Chip. Yeah, so I met him at a convention that we were all doing signings for and stuff. He was a really cool dude, man, and he really made my adolescence come to fruition meeting him, because I think I was in middle school or high school, the freshman in high school when that Flash series came out. But what I loved about that series was the suit. The suit was dope as shit. And the backstory about the suit I always liked, where it was a Russian scuba suit that they had acquired somehow that was impenetrable to friction and this kind of shit, that why he could run in it and use it. I always thought that was I was like, that's a really cool idea on how, to explain some things. But then the new Flash series came out, and I just thought it was amazing. It was really good. It's just so good.
They
And
really did a good job on it.
yeah, but then Arrow's really good, and the Gotham's just amazing, and but as a kid I read mostly Batman's and some Justice League, but I was more of a Marvel guy. I read Fantastic Four, and I read X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, um, West Coast Avengers, and so I don't know. I was all over the place with comic books. I was kind of everywhere. I kind of lost my knowledge over the years of, because I was really in middle school and high school. I was really into comic books because I wanted to draw for them. So I was really studying the writers and the artists, and like Jay Lee and Jim Lee, and I was never much of a Eric Larson fan. I never really liked his art. I thought it was a little too chesty, and he never drew handles to guns or feet, And then you got other guys who are just like McFarlane is just like an artist, And then like Jay Lee, I really liked him because he drew a lot of contrast art. He did a character Death Blow, and that artwork to me was really quintessential for basically my style of storytelling, I guess, because I'm just drawn to that kind of stuff. Punisher Warzone, I read a lot of Punisher. I just love the Punisher. Yeah.
Punisher's my main guy.
But my hands down favorite superhero ever is Spider-Man. Yeah.
See, mine's a mixture of Punisher and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghost Rider.
Oh well, yes, and Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. I've always loved Moon Knight. But Ghost Rider for sure. I like all the Ghost Rider movies. I thought they did really well with Nick Cage playing Ghost Rider. In fact, I love him as Ghost Rider. A lot of people can't stand it, but I loved when he was changing because he was just like, I'm Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, Ghost Rider. Go on, let's get on our motorcycle.
Have you seen? Speaking of him, have you seen what is it?
Willy's Wonderland.
Yes.
Yeah. Roy, my partner, did all the effects for that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Trish watched that not too long ago. I was like, I wonder how much they paid him not to say a single or only one word out of the whole movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
well,
how
do
you keep Nicolas Cage from talking? That's what I want to know. Is how you keep Nicolas Cage from talking for the entirety of a movie.
He's the coolest dude, man. He's the coolest dude, and he will do a project solely on the fact that he likes it. No one can, like his agent can't sway him. No one, his managers, they can't sway him. If he likes the project, doesn't matter. He's going to do it. Like that's where Willy Wonderland came in, is because he liked the idea that it was so out there. Like The Color of Night. Is that the new one he just did? Yeah, and now he's got a new one coming out. Like I think Cage has become a staple in the horror world, but just overall in the independent filmmaker world and nerd world, because Cage is a nerd. He is a D&D loving Superman wannabe, will do any comic book movie he can get his hands on. That's why he did Kick-Ass. That's why he did Ghost Rider. He wanted to be Superman.
Oh yeah, I remember even seeing the pictures of him dressed as Superman back in the day.
Yeah, and I just love him, man. I think he's great. That's my one actor that I would die to work with, Nick Cage.
I'm actually interested in seeing one of the newer movies he did. I think it's called Pig.
Pig.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me, but it's one of those I'll watch it eventually. We don't have time to watch movies all the time.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just watching Willy's Wonderland, we actually just took some time to ourselves, and it's like, you know what, we haven't watched a movie in a long time. Let's, and
Yeah.
of course I picked that one because that's kind of stuff that we like to watch. And let's see, Alfred Pennyworth down here, Brett.
John Wesley's ship.
Ship.
Thank you.
Man,
I knew it was Wesley, something like that.
Yeah, I forgot about John. I knew it was Ship, but he's saying he's jealous. And then Scott, going to go back up there real quick. Yes, Roy is awesome on Face Off Family with Jerry.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then they did a lot back in the day. Soda Toys was awesome.
Yep, Roy had a company, Soda Toys. They did like The Thing with John Carpenter's The Thing. They had a Kurt Russell toy. They did Twisted stuff, Insane Clown Posse. They did like Pumpkinhead. They did a ton of toys, man. He still does toys. He's doing toys for the movie we just did called Sorority of the Damned.
And that's in post-production, right?
Yeah, that's in post. That'll come out next October. Not this October. We pushed it because we got a better deal at the drive-ins to release it next October.
And you're the writer on that one too, right?
I'm the writer, star, and co-director. Roy and I co-directed together. Roy did all the effects. I wrote it with my friend Jeremy, and then I star in it, and then I co-directed it, and then Jeremy, who co-wrote it, plays the living statue in it.
Sorry, I'm sitting here looking at some of the movies that you've acted in. Now, you've actually been in a couple of Joel's movies.
Yeah, well, he lives down the street from me. He's a pretty cool guy.
I'm
man.
sorry.
And
you got really thick windows, so you can't hear him yelling and screaming, right?
Doesn't matter. You can hear that man no matter where he's at. Yeah, Joel and I have known each other since I started like I said, in like 2000. Like, he was already a staple in the community as the guy making independent films in the area. You know, basically, if you're going to make an independent film in the area, Joel Wynkoop was probably going to be involved somehow. So he and I eventually worked together. I just love him. He's great, man. He's actually in an episode of South of Central. He plays my character. I played Chauncey Davies. He plays my father, who through the first season you think is dead.
So see,
yeah,
now you
Joel,
spoiled that.
Joel Wynkoop shows up, buddy.
Well, see how? Okay, now I have something to look forward to.
Get down.
Now,
sorry, cat.
Gotta love cats.
Dude, they don't care. They will just come up onto your shelf and go, boop, knock stuff off. They don't care.
Yeah. You're not paying attention to me? You don't want this anymore.
He just broke. I have a Freddy Krueger figure that he knocked down earlier that I had to put back together with super glue.
Yeah, see. Now, the dogs, I'm going to have to say, they've broke a couple of my things because they get wild and they start chasing each other, and they don't realize
how big they are.
Yeah, and that the shelf is not going to move for them like we do. And boom, and then one day I'll learn not to put the nice stuff up on top.
Yeah, don't put the wobbly stuff up top.
The breakable.
Yeah, my cats don't care. They jump literally up on my desk and just knock all of my figures down. It's like, thanks.
Now, is there besides Nicolas Cage, is there another actor that you would love to work with at some point?
Kurt Russell. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China is probably one of my favorite movies ever. I've seen it probably the most. That being said, I love Dead Alive. That's probably the second most thing I've seen besides Evil Dead 2. You know, these are the I don't know. I guess maybe as a filmmaker and not just an actor, I I have directors I want to work with: John Carpenter, Sam Raimi, Peter Jackson.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, but
Carpenter
then
would have been great. I
there's
would
like
have loved just
other
to meet him.
there's other people that I would like to work with too, though. Like anybody from It's Always Sunny, Danny DeVito for sure. Tina Fey. I think Tina Fey is one of the best writers out there in the last 20 years. She's one of the best comedic writers ever, coming from SNL and then following it up with all the films that she's done, plus 30 Rock. She is I don't think she gets enough credit, man. And that's someone I'd like to work with. Shane Black, who I admire as a screenwriter. He's written some of the best screenplays, some of the best movies you probably didn't know he wrote. Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon, Predators. He's an action horror comedy dude. I think I get a lot of my comedy stylings from watching his movies.
See, I love the fact that you name some of the obscure movies, like Last Boy Scout, and earlier you mentioned Rawhead Rex. Those are some of my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah, me too. And sometimes it's difficult because I do a lot of horror films, and I think horror fans want me to be able to rattle off, these obscure horror films that has become a passion for these fans. And I don't know some of these movies, like I don't know, someone will mention some actor who was in 10 indie horror films, and I feel like an idiot because I'm like, well, I don't know who that is. I don't know, man. So sometimes I feel like a fraud because it's like I don't know all these obscure references that these people are talking about.
Oh,
I don't know if that makes sense at all, but that's kind of
no,
how I feel sometimes.
Trust me, because people in what we do, people start, oh, well, so and so and so and so and so and so, and it's like, I've heard the name. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, and and it's sometimes I worry like I don't know enough. So I'll research something for like a week just so I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, trust me, it's the way in the convention scene and the comic scene. I mean, people start mentioning some artist or writer of a book from the 80s, and it's like, back then it was just about seeing the Punisher or Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I didn't really care.
I didn't look at the
story.
writer or the artist. I was looking at the pictures and the words. I should have been looking at that shit, but I wasn't. I was looking at the other stuff. A lot of these people are like, oh, you don't know who wrote Punisher War Journal number 48? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I have other things to do. I'm sorry. I don't know all that stuff off the top of my head. But,
tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, at this point in my life, I got people to tell me this stuff. like what she just said. Tom is an encyclopedia of comic book knowledge. Like with the horror movies and stuff, I got Scott and Boris to pretty much. I know some stuff. I know the movies and titles, but I can't tell you directors. I like Rawhead Rex, one of my favorites growing up. I cannot tell you who wrote it, who directed it, any of that stuff. But I can tell you that was a hell of a monster on there.
Rawhead Rex, I think, was a Carpenter film.
Was it?
I think it was John Carpenter. I want to say it was.
Now you're going to have me go look.
That's one of my, go-to movies, man. That's one of my oh no, Clive Barker wrote it. That's
Clive Barker.
Right. George Pavlou. But like, sorry, I didn't know who directed it, but I love it. And the reason why I love it is because I didn't know it existed until I was sitting on my bus stop in 5th grade where there was a 7-Eleven. And I walked over to the 7-Eleven. I had like $6 in my pocket. And there was an episode of this magazine called Fangoria. And on the cover was this monster eating this priest's head. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I love everything about it. So I bought it. read it cover to cover like 40 times. And then I started collecting Fangoria, and I had a lot until my mom threw them out one day. She found them all under my bed and thought I was satanic. And but that's what really got me going for the love of horror films. Was I was already kind of early in my, like a fifth grade, I was already writing stories for my mom about Dracula and werewolves. But then when I found Fangoria, that really is what changed my whole attitude of, this is something achievable. I might be able to do this somehow. I don't know. I grew up in Ocala, which is a rural part of Florida, where nothing is except for horse farms and the Ocala National Forest. So
You got monkeys. You got monkeys in the forest.
most of my time in elementary, like fifth grade through eighth grade, was me and my friends were in the woods, man. We were trying to kill rattlesnakes and water moccasins. We're trying to catch alligators. We swam the Ocklawaha River, which is not recommended. I don't recommend anybody do that. But we did it. We did like 4 miles of the Ocklawaha River, and saw all kinds of scary shit. A giant alligator, I think it was 15 feet long. And we were like, that thing's going to eat us right now. And it just swam right past us. I probably didn't know what we were. There was like 4 of us on a giant raft. We were like leaning on the raft like this. There was 4 of us, and we were just kick paddling down the Ocklawaha River. We had a cooler floating next to us that had sandwich meat and sodas and shit in it. And when we got hungry, we just pop a drink, and it took us like all day to to go down the river. And that's the kind of stuff I did in my adolescence, 14 years old, swimming the river against alligators and water moccasins and giant catfish.
Well, I kind of did the same thing, because I'm from a very small town in Colorado. Like, we didn't even have paved roads till 1990. So, but we didn't have the alligators. So,
Yeah.
But we had the
We
snakes.
used to catch them. We used to catch like the 4-foot ones. We pull them right out of the water. I'm a true Florida boy. Even though I don't look like it, I'm a true Florida boy. My wife is from Boston, and when I tell her stories about, she's from Massachusetts, Worcester. And when I tell her stories, being 14 and diving in the river because we see an alligator we want to fuck with, she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Nothing. We grew up around them. You know how they act. We know what they're gonna do."
Oh yeah.
But that's an Ocala boy.
Well, you grew up in Ocala. How many times did you visit the villages?
What do you mean?
I just, the villages is always a running joke on our show, because see, Boris lives up in Ocala.
Oh, I see.
So the villages is
Boris
always
lives in Ocala?
Yep.
Where's he? Where at? What part? Do we know?
I know the address. I know how to get to his house, but I don't know.
Is he like Bellevue or Summerfield or
Scott? If you guys, if you're still on, Scott or Boris,
that, because I love meeting people from Ocala, because not many people are who are from Ocala leave Ocala.
Well, both Scott and Boris are from Ocala, so
all right, solidarity.
Oh yeah. So see, we don't judge. We only judge if you're from the villages.
Yeah, well, I almost had to live in the Ocala National Forest because we got lost out there for like 2 days, but then we found our way out.
Well, like I said, I never believed there was monkeys there until Scott had put on
Creature.
What was it called? Creature thought. It was a celebration of like the 65th anniversary of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, since it was filmed up there.
Yeah, Silver Springs.
Yeah, they're at Silver Springs. See, they live close to Silver Springs. I know that.
Oh, that's where I lived. That's right where I lived. In that area. I was 10 minutes from Silver Springs.
Like I said, I never believed, because you hear about all the stories. Oh, there's monkeys up there. No, there's not. We were sitting there, and sure enough, there was monkeys that went across. And I'm sitting there hitting Trish like, Did you just see that?
Not in 1990 when I lived there. There was no monkeys.
See, Boris says Gilbration was the convention.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was. I'm sorry. It was a couple years back.
Yeah, I lived in Ocala from probably 1988, 87 until 1995 when I moved to Tampa.
So you moved out and the monkeys moved in. See,
That sounds about right.
You're the reason there's monkeys.
Yeah, well,
you were keeping the monkeys away. You left and look at.
Well, yeah, they were like, he's a giant dumb hairless ape. And I was like, shut up, leave me alone.
See, now I'm going to go back since you do know some of the older movies, and I'm going to see if you remember the old movies from the '80s, Alligator.
Yeah, of course. Lived in the sewer.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the cover. I can tell you the cover.
Oh, I remember the movie because back then you could actually buy alligators at the pet stores.
Yeah, baby alligators.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember, watching it at the beginning of the movie, getting flushed down the toilet and all that, and then
snapping turtles. Those are bastards. That's another thing we had to contend with. A lot of snapping turtles in Florida. They live in the mud and the muck right by the river. In case anyone watching needs National Geographic information.
That's the only thing I'd be more scared of the snapping turtles than the gators themselves.
Now, the thing that scares me the most still to this day, even if I've gone out in the woods and shot some stuff for different things and we've gone pretty far out into the swamp areas, and you got to warn people, like, you got to watch out around the base of the trees because that's where the water moccasins live, just outside the water on the edge of the tree line. They curl up in the roots, and it's a perfect place for them. If you're not paying attention, you might step on one, and if you get bit by a water moccasin, they're going to kill you here. You'll die. You won't make it back to wherever you were to get to a hospital. You're going to die. So my biggest concern is still the water moccasins. I think they're more dangerous than the alligators.
I had minor hopes that he was going to say Bigfoot.
She's a Bigfoot fan.
I love Bigfoot. Don't get me. I just wrote a script called Endangered about 3 weeks ago. It's an entirely Sasquatch based movie. It's about a group of hunters who go out, and it's really cool. It's actiony, and it's graphic, and it's not really funny. I kind of strayed away from my comedy in that one. It's more serious. It's kind of like if John Wick was a Sasquatch, and you just got to go kill everybody.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
isn't that how most Bigfoot movies go? They end up, besides Harry and the Hendersons, they usually end up killing everybody.
That's because they just want to be left alone.
Yeah, that's this one's whole thing is like, don't fuck with me.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah, stop looking for us.
Now, what is one of your favorite movies that you've made that you can tell everybody you gotta see? I made this. You gotta see this.
That's gonna be Sorority. It's the best movie I've made so far, which is good because it proves to me that what I'm doing is improving. So I'm very happy with it.
But I can't see that for another year.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
What can we watch until then?
I guess my one that I really I feel that is the most true to me is probably Night Falls. It has Debbie Rochon in it, and it has Rain Brown, who was kind of big for a time. She's an actress out of New Jersey. She's done a ton of horror films. And it has Juliet. What is Juliet's last name now? She's married. She's a well-known indie actress.
Now, what's that movie about?
It's basically a family moves into a home. They don't really know anything about the property. They move in because the dad has died. So they move into this new house. It's a plantation home in the woods, and it just happens to be haunted. And every year on this anniversary, this family from the 1800s who killed their children, the mother and father, one played by Deborah Rashawn and one played by Michael Ellison, uh, they show up and kill whoever's on the property. And the daughter, played by Denise Melody, who's a very famous voiceover actress now, um, she has a party. She's got a bunch of friends there, and sure enough, the evil spirits show up and just start killing everybody. And then she turns into a badass and has to fight them. And her boyfriend's there. I play her brother, who's a forest ranger, and he comes out to help, but he's just really kind of an idiot. And they get their asses kicked a lot, and then it was really fun. It's fun and it's kind of funny. We shot it real quick. I think we shot it in like 15 days. We only had like $100,000. It was my first testament as a director that I could pull this off. And I've been improving ever since then. So
Now you
because
said
you just
that
don't
one.
start good. You don't start as a good director. I don't think. You're not making masterpieces your first one.
It's
I
the
don't
same
think
as
you
any
are.
job. You gotta
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your exciting awesomeness.
Yeah. Mistakes.
Learn.
I have made so many mistakes. So many. Like as an independent filmmaker, it's just about making mistakes and moving forward, really.
Sorry, somebody messaged me. It's like,
That's fine.
you no, because people know that this is this. I'm on the show. I don't exist for 2 hours. Now you mentioned like that one. You had like 100,000. You said
We had 100,000, I think, to shoot that.
so. Now, because that was what in 2010. Now, with the sorority one that you're talking about,
Yeah.
what's the budget on that one?
$1 million.
Damn. So in 11 years, you've gone from 100,000 to $1 million.
That's $100,000 a year. That's like I don't know. Yeah. So it's and it sorority shows it, man. Sorority really shows how far I feel that I've come. As a director, an actor, a producer, a writer. In the beginning you don't. Well, I've always kind of understood that filmmaking is a compromise with other artists. You have your writer. Like I used to teach writing, and when I would tell the writer, it's like, "Why do you want to be a script writer?" Because I want to make a movie. You want to make a movie? Or you want to sell a movie? Because as a writer, you're not making the movie. They're going to buy the movie from you. They're going to tear it apart, and they're going to go make something else that you didn't write. You have to be ready for that. So I've always known, as a writer, that there's what I would teach is there's the written script, there's the edited script, there's the shot script. Wait, I did that backwards. there's the written script, there's the shot script, there's the edited script, and then there's the viewed script that the audience has watched your movie, but not everybody watches the same thing. So you could walk out of a movie talking to your friend about the movie you both just watched, and they missed your favorite part. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
So there's 4 versions of a script of this universe that you've created that becomes an entity. right? I write a script about I don't know, a werewolf, and by the time it reaches the audience, maybe he didn't have a girlfriend in the first version, but the director decided, well, I think we need a girlfriend, so they added a character to the script as they're shooting, and that kind of stuff happens all the time, and you need to know that that's going to happen as a professional writer. You're only going to get about 50% of what you want or what you've written into your final product of a feature film. So, as a writer, you need to know that when you write your script and sell it to a studio, if you're that fortunate, they're going to change it. You can't be married to it. So, write your script to whatever you want it to be, and then move on.
Yeah, well, it was. I think we saw something sort of like that because I watched the show on Netflix, the movies that made us. I don't know if you've ever seen
Yeah,
that.
I know it.
And there was one, what Pretty Woman, I think is what it was, where they got the script from the writer, all that. They had him on the set. Then it went to a new company. They fired the writer, but the director kept going back and saying, "Hey, I'm changing it. What do you think about me changing it this way?" Kept going back to the writer, and he's like, "It's not even my movie anymore."
And that happens a lot. That happens so much that the script that you've presented or sold it never makes it to, like, because the studio thinks they know everything. If a big studio buys it, guaranteed you're not going to have your film isn't going to be your film when they're done with it.
So, have you got any big studios that have come after any of your movies?
No, not really. Not yet. I I'm hoping soon that there's something in the works that I might have a negotiation with, but nothing so far. I haven't had a big studio come after me, like Scream Gems or Lionsgate or any of them, which is pretty good. I kind of like that because right now I get to kind of do what I want on my sets, and I have a feeling once I get to the point to where someone like Universal's like, yo, we want you to direct this movie, I probably won't have any control of it. It'll be whatever they want, and I'm just there to go action and say good job, guys.
And where's the bagels? Okay.
Yeah. Someone bring me a smear.
Now, like, because I told you I've been watching the South of Central. I wish I could have been through the whole thing.
That's
now,
all right.
I know that's a whole bunch of little episodes. Now, did you film it all at once and then cut it down to little episodes, or did you actually do just the little episodes?
Here's what happened. The first 4 or 5 episodes was one episode, and I was shooting it to be a pilot, and in the middle of it I got Stranger Things, so we stopped shooting it. We just stopped shooting it, and while I was off doing Stranger Things, I started thinking about what it could be. And then I was like, well, it needs to be a series, I think, and we need to cut it down. And I'd like 10-minute episodes, but everyone I talked to was saying they need to be 5-minute episodes. And, so I was like, all right, I don't know anything about the internet. I don't know what really works on YouTube. I said, so we'll just cut it down. So I cut it down, and then I was like, I want to keep going. So I started writing from episode 4 or 5. I wrote an episode every week and we shot it just like I started my whole life doing. It brought me all the way back to the Sidewalk Crack days. And, I'd meet people and be like, yeah, we're going to, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to write the script and then we're going to shoot it and then we'll put it up on YouTube. And people were like, you can't do that. You can't do all that in a week. And I was like, I used to do all that shit with 2 VCRs, editing a VCR to VCR. What are you talking about? What do you mean it can't be done? Of course it can be done. It can be done much faster now because it's all digital. Like, so that's what we did. And I'd write an episode, get the crew together, we go shoot it. Austin Janowski was a really good friend of mine. He becomes a big part of the show. Because there's you meet a lot of people in this industry, and not a lot of people are reliable. A lot of people say they want to do stuff, and they act like they want to do stuff, but they don't want to do anything. They're very lazy. So if you say, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to make this thing. I need you here at 8:00 and we're going to shoot till 4:00. But you don't show up till 10. I'm not going to keep working with you. And it gets very hard to do productions like that. But guys like Austin shows up, knows his lines, knows your lines, and you can shoot your scene in 10 minutes with him there. It doesn't take you all day to shoot your scene. He shows up, knows his line. I know my stuff. So I know that Austin is a guy I can trust. If I want to get a scene shot in an afternoon, he's the guy I call. I'm not going to call someone who showed up late twice and kind of isn't really into it and thinks they should already be famous. Those are the most difficult people to work with.
Oh, I can imagine.
So, yeah, it gets hard sometimes because I've had friends of mine who I was very close to land things on like The Walking Dead and request that I take all their stuff down. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it happened. It happened. I had gotten Stranger Things. I'd already shot 3 episodes. I wasn't allowed to say shit about it. I was under heavy NDA. And a friend of mine landed a role on The Walking Dead. And we had done a couple shows like a year before that for a nerd program. It was like a nerdy show. And out of the blue, I get an email saying, I'm doing something really big. You won't understand. I want you to take down all my stuff because it's going to damage my career. And I read the email and I showed my wife and I was like, you believe what they sent me? This is someone who I loved. And I was like, they don't know that I'm doing Stranger Things. I was like, and I can't tell them. And I'm still going to do the show on YouTube because you need to do everything you can fucking do to make a career.
I was going to say, is it, I don't know in the acting business if it's the same, but I mean, unless there's something like really, really bad, nothing, does it really,
nobody cares.
Really affect your,
No, I have so much shit out there that I know for a fact that there's probably a video of me dancing naked somewhere. For a fact, someone has that video. So someday that's going to show up. But who gives a shit? I don't care. You know what I mean? I like doing this. You have to do all of it to succeed. And it blew my mind that this person was so immediate with the cutoff. And I was like, okay. So I went and I took everything they were in and I took it all offline, took it all down. And then The Walking Dead aired. You know, they were in like 4 episodes or 3 episodes. I don't even think it was that many. And they packed up their shit from here and they moved to LA and now they wait tables for a living.
Ooh.
Well, I'm just sitting there. It's like all that stuff.
But the shit email that I got, the shit email about how famous they were going to be, which is the second email that I received from a friend of mine telling me how famous they're going to be and wanted me to take all their shit down, are now non-existent. Where's your big fame? Where are you? I try not to do any of that, man. I try not to boast. I try not to talk, like, unless it's in an interview. I don't walk around like bragging about shit. It's almost embarrassing for me to have to explain it sometimes because, you know, my wife or whatever would be like, oh, he's an actor. Oh, what has he been in? What does he do? Or they'll look right at it. What do you do? You been in anything I know? Stranger Things. Oh. Well, I haven't seen it. Okay. Then why the fuck are you asking questions like that?
Right?
You know, and it's embarrassing because I don't want to be that guy who's like, I'm in fucking everything, because I'm not. I'm very fortunate to be what I'm in. I'm very happy to be what I'm in, and I just want to keep acting and writing and directing and just working in general. And I don't want anyone to.
I was going to say, you're not forgetting where you came from.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to think that I'm bigger than I am, because I don't. You don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, just look at any childhood actor from the 80s. How long is it going to last?
Exactly.
You don't know. You don't know. 10 years? If you're lucky, you get a 10-year career, unless you're Clint Eastwood, Ron Howard. But they do other things. They also direct, and they write, and they produce. You know, you have to do all that stuff.
Well, I think Clint Eastwood's going to keep even writing and producing after he's dead.
Yeah, he'll just write from his grave.
Yeah, or they'll have a hologram of him doing it. I mean, that's...
If it's older Eastwood, I'll be okay with that. If it's Fistful of Dollars Eastwood, I don't like. I mean, he's great now, but this isn't the Eastwood I remember. The 90-year-old Eastwood. I want the younger 40-year-old. You know, every which way but loose Eastwood.
Oh, you don't want Rawhide or Paint Your Wagon?
Well, those two. Those are great. Unforgiven.
Yeah.
You know, I love all those. My ultimate dream is to direct a Western.
Oh, see, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but they're non-existent anymore. People don't make Westerns because it's not a thing. Nobody cares about Westerns anymore. That's a dying genre.
But like people our age, mine your age,
Yeah.
we grew up on them. I mean, I grew
up
watching
Saturday afternoons watching Gunsmoke and Have Gun Will Travel.
West.
Yep.
That I remember Wild Wild West. That was I had to watch it every week because that was like my go-to. Like you said, Half Gun, Gunsmoke.
Yeah. We have a Roku in our bedroom, and it has the Western channel. And it's funny because I was laying in bed with my wife and I'm clicking through the channels on the Roku, and I was like, they have a Western channel? And she's like, what? I was like, Westerns. And she's like, you watch Westerns? Now, I've been with her 10 years. And, I was like, yeah, babe, yeah. I was like, so I clicked on the channel, and man, it's got all the old series. It's got a ton of Western movies. It's got old like 50s and 60s Westerns, and it's stuff that I remember watching on Saturday afternoon when I was a kid, a lot of John Wayne stuff and Troy McClure. Trailer. What's his name? There's a Western actor. Trailer is his last name. I can't remember his first name. A lot of his movies and that kind of stuff. And those, I think, as a filmmaker, you should watch them to learn. The same with the original Twilight Zone, which I've watched. Me and my 6-year-old daughter have watched every episode of the original. I think there's like 30 seasons of the original Twilight Zone, something like that. And we watched all of them. And rewatching them with her, I look at them kind of differently now, because when I was a kid, they were just amazing. But now as an adult, I watch them and I'm like, dude, they were doing camera tricks and digital effects and mounting cameras on biplanes and shit. They weren't doing that shit in films. The only show that was doing it was the Twilight Zone. And I think if you're going to be a filmmaker, you should watch every episode of the original Twilight Zone. You'll learn so much.
Well, and rewatching any of like the older shows and stuff as an adult, like stuff that we watched as a kid, rewatching it as an adult, you see different nuances that you missed as a kid.
Except for the Goonies. I watch the Goonies, and every time I'm a 10-year-old boy. I'm just amazed by everything in the Goonies. And I'm just like, this has everything I remember of being a 10-year-old watching this movie for the first time. And, I don't know. Richard Donner's great, man. He's great. I was always Chunk. Always.
Do the shuffle.
Oh, dude, I do it for my wife. She loves it.
Okay. Well, we are after 9 o'clock, so we can talk about that kind of stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
Um. See, and talking about that, like we just started watching the Golden Girls again, and
Me
it's
too.
like you never realized how adult and what they got away with way back then that they could never get away with nowadays.
I love the Golden Girls. I think Betty White is phenomenal in that show.
Oh yeah, she's an actress I'd love to meet.
She's on that list. I forgot about her, but she'd be someone I'd want to work with. You asked me who I'd want to work with: Nicolas Cage, Kurt Russell, Betty White, Danny DeVito.
See, I loved Betty White in Lake Placid because that's the first time I ever heard her that
Yeah.
I
She
ever
cussed.
heard her say, yeah,
Yeah.
she cussed.
Yeah.
It's like Betty White
Yeah.
just said, "Suck my dick."
Yeah.
Like,
This is where if I had a dick, I'd tell you to suck it. That's her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was, yeah, yep.
I mean, my whole views on Betty White changed with that movie, and she went from being great to being like extraordinary. She's the ultimate, and then
And
Hot
I
in
think she was like
Cleveland.
85.
Yeah, well, she's in her late 90s now, and she's still acting.
She's 1,008 now, I think.
She's up there with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, her and Clint Eastwood would be making movies from their graves. I didn't watch a lot of Hot in Cleveland, but I did see a few episodes and I loved them.
It was one of those I never watched it when it was
Right.
playing. I watched it on. I think I had the TV on, and like the episode came on, and it's like, this is actually kind of funny,
Yeah.
Nothing I ever set out to watch.
Right.
But the same thing went with Parks and Rec. It was not something I never watched when it first aired, and then I'm kicking myself once I watched it. It's like, how did I ever miss this show?
Parks and Rec is a phenomenal show. Again, you're talking Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and it's just a phenomenal written show, and it's amazing.
Well, see, I'm sitting here. I'm still thinking back that you auditioned for This Is Us, and I'm kind of glad you didn't get it, because then I wouldn't be having this interview with you.
Why, you don't like This Is Us?
Oh no, Trish loves it.
Oh,
But you would be too popular. You'd never even be talking with me.
Well, thank you. I'm glad the fact that I didn't land that role gave you the ability to talk to me today.
Yeah, see,
I still want to talk to you, though. Trust me.
I mean, sitting there winning
I'm
all
just that
your
kind of guy.
Emmys.
Well,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I mean, yeah, that'd be great to have all those Emmys, but I don't need them. I have love.
You have a
I have a
fan base
beautiful
that
wife
loves-
who takes care of me.
Yeah, I saw you winking at her earlier. So
Yeah, she walked in.
hi, Mrs. Davison. There we go.
They said hi, man.
Well, okay. You get credit for it too.
I appreciate it.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Now,
We actually met on a film set. I was shooting a movie called Experiment 7. It's my first film I did on my own. It's not my favorite film, because right after that I did As Night Falls, and I feel As Night Falls is kind of like my first true film. Experiment 7 was an independent film. I wrote and directed, and I met my wife Leanne on that. She came out to play a mutant, and she got all done up in makeup and stuff. And the only thing I remember is I look through the monitor and I see these beautiful eyes through the makeup, and I was like, and I remember staring at them, and we didn't talk that day. it wasn't until 10 years later, 7 years later, Experiment 7 years later, I was at her cousin's, Kara Lee, who's helping me with Experiment 7. She's part of my company. She invited me to Thanksgiving dinner. I'm sitting at the table eating, and I keep looking at the girl next to me, and I'm like, how do I know you? And she's like, you cut me out of your movie. And then I was like, but not out of my heart. And then
Aww.
we just, yeah. I made that last part up, but I'm adding that from now on.
I was gonna say,
That's part of our history, babe.
You need to put that on a plaque.
Yeah.
I
And
may
now we
cut you-
have, yeah, I may have cut you out of my film, but I'll never cut you out of my heart.
Yeah, see?
Sold. Your birthday's Thursday. That's going in your card.
Ooh, happy birthday, too.
They say happy
How
birthday.
come I didn't get sweet things like that? I gotta. Oh, thank God you have boobs.
Oh, well, I'm very thankful for her breasts as well.
Well, see, we met, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And we met through somebody on the internet, and we started talking on the internet. And back then there was no cameras and this and that. Internet was, it took you an hour just to get onto the internet.
Yeah, I never did the chat rooms on the internet.
Well, we actually, like I said, I was talking with her best friend, and her best friend introduced her to me, and then me and her got together instead of me and her best friend.
Yeah.
But
That's how
the first time we saw each other, and I'm like, oh, thank God you actually have boobs. So,
Nice. Well,
because you always heard the stories way back when. You don't know who you're talking to.
oh, I see what you're saying. The fact that she wasn't a dude, you met her on the internet, you didn't see her picture. Thank God she had boobs. Not just right. I see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because back then, like I said, you didn't have the video cameras and all that kind of stuff. You might have got a picture that you uploaded that took you 10 days to upload that picture, and then you're just hoping to God that that's who you actually see.
No, it was it was just destined, I think, for us to be together with all of it. Now we got a beautiful 6-year-old daughter together, and we got another baby coming in December.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. Somebody else, not us.
I know.
I'm
right?
done.
We're on the other
Well, this
end.
is our last one. After this, I'm gonna get it cut off and just go to sleep.
And do a documentary of you getting it cut off, and
yeah, it'll be a whole show of documentary series on Netflix.
and then you could turn it into a horror movie that
It's just saying it's a horror movie.
Yeah,
just the idea of that.
Well, for every guy, yes. For every woman, it's a romance story.
I don't know about that.
Well, most women would be happy
without a penis.
Well, no. Okay. Well, most women would be happy without a penis, because then they wouldn't be a woman. They might relate to being a woman. Okay, we won't go there.
I don't know.
I don't know where you just went.
This is derailing.
I haven't had any drink tonight except for
Put
soda.
your shirt back on, sir.
I know, right?
I get told that a lot, especially at the beach.
Me too. Mostly keep your pants on.
I haven't been told that one yet. Okay, so do you have any anything that you're currently working on that's like not in post-production or
you mean something that's about to start?
Yeah.
I got 2 films I'm trying to get funded right now. I don't want to do Kickstarter or any of that stuff. I'd rather go find private investors. One
I got 50
is
cents.
there you go, sold. But what I am doing is I'm starting season 2 of South of Central on October 3rd while I'm at the convention at Phantasm, because I talked to those guys and I was like, yo, you think I could shoot an episode of my show? And they were like, yeah, please, whatever you want. And I was like, all right, cool. So I wrote an episode about my character Chauncey, who comes back. He's at a convention, and the way Chauncey is people either love him or hate him. And basically a bunch of fans show up, and a lot of people kind of like him, but some people just think he's an idiot. And Austin Janowski will be there playing his character Paul Hammerstone, and then we got a couple other parts. I wrote a new character in, and then we're gonna have a bunch of extras playing fans, which we've got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 people already signed up to be in the show. So we're gonna start South of Central season 2 in October, and I've already written 4 episodes now. The season 2 is going to be a lot better, I feel, because I understand the characters a lot more now. I know where we want to go with it and exactly how to execute it, because we had all that practice with the first season. So now it's going to be a lot. The shows are going to be 10 to 15 minutes long, as opposed to 4 to 5 or 6 minutes. So yeah, we got a couple returning characters. Paul Hammerstone is coming back. We'll have Buford Cummings, played by Shelby McIntyre. He'll be coming back as my manager. The agent to the stars. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be pretty. The episodes we have written already are kind of ridiculous. And I know the limits of Chauncey now, so I know just how far we can push him.
Well, see, that would be cool, especially if you're doing it on the 3rd, because that's the day we're going to be there.
Oh, sweet!
So that would be cool.
Well, good. I could throw you in it. You wanna be in it? You can just walk by and be like, Chauncey.
Well,
he would do that in a minute.
Oh yeah,
yeah, cool.
Well, I wasn't saying that, but yeah, no, because since we covered the conventions, we actually were going to be in West Palm on Saturday and then drive all the way back to be at Phantasm on Sunday. So
yeah, we're gonna shoot. I don't have a time yet when we're shooting. Probably like I'll close the convention out. Like I'll start at like 12 and shoot until 6 or something. Maybe not even that long. I don't think it'll take us 6 hours. I think we'll be done in about 2.5, because it's only like 6 pages of dialogue. But I don't want to say that because you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, especially in a convention, because you never know who's going to stop by.
Yep.
Right. And I'm already doing a couple panels and stuff on Friday and Saturday, and I want to spend some time at my table as well. So, but yeah, I'm sure we'll have plenty of people who want to jump in front of the camera for a minute.
Yeah, because all I was going to say is that'd be cool to actually see it being shot,
Oh,
and
yeah.
And to meet
that's
you.
That's the goal, too. I want people to see it. I want people to see, that we're actively working on something and we're not just, I'm not just a guy who sits around,
No, that's my job. Jeez.
So, yeah. So South of Central season 2 starts shooting October 3rd. I think we'll have it done. I want to have it all finished before the new baby arrives, so I can edit it while I'm taking care of the newborn, bottle feeding it and editing the show. And,
We'll see. And that'll help me. I can finish the first season by the time you start.
You should be almost done with it. They're only like 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah. No. I had a problem.
And if you're on episode 4, if you just did Kitten Con, I think that's episode 4 or 5.
I think it was episode 5 I just finished, because I had a hard time finding episode 6. You know how usually YouTube go.
They're all on the channel. South of Central has its own channel.
Oh, see, I didn't find it on the channel. You know how when you got episode 1, and usually it just goes into the next episode. Once I hit 5, then it just quit going. I'm like, is there only 5?
That's weird.
And so I went through and was like, oh, well, here's 6. So let me hit 6, and
Yeah.
then I got sidetracked with Real World Job and
Oh yeah, you and me
everything.
both,
And
man.
it's like,
You know, and we're not really pushing for subscribers and that kind of stuff. I'm not doing all that, not because I don't want to. It's right there. I just shared it in the group chat. Because I'm not quite sure we're there yet with yeah, okay, so episode 5 is Kitten Con, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 is weird because or episode 13 is not on. They only do 12 I guess episodes on their little platform, and then you got to click on the actual homepage to see all the video. Like if you hit play all, then they're all there, all 13 episodes. But if you don't, let's see, it might say I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyways, you know, we don't have a lot of followers and there's not a lot of views, but I wasn't doing it to try to get famous from it. I was actually making a pilot to sell, and it just turned into a show on YouTube. So when we start shooting season 2, then I'm going to really kick it up, and I'm really going to start getting out there and try to get subscribers and do all that stuff that you do to get your YouTube career going. But I'm not. I just want to have fun with it, man. I just want people to enjoy it, and it's basically a proof of concept. I'd like to pitch it to Hulu or Netflix, and now that I have a direct connect there, it's much easier for me to do that now. Like with Sorority, we're going to pitch that as a series to a major streaming service once the movie comes out, because I want to turn it into a series like Buffy or Supernatural.
Oh, that's cool. See, now I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it.
A real kind of raunchy horror comedy, very much like Ash versus Evil Dead, or that other one with the guy I love from Office Space, Stan versus Evil.
Oh, yes, I'd love that.
Yeah, I can't think of that guy's name. I like him though.
Yeah, no, because Scrubs and all that.
Yeah, I loved him in Scrubs, man.
Oh yeah, John. What is it? John C. Macy something?
No.
John C.
Riley?
Oh.
No,
John C. Riley's. I'm trying to remember because I hear
John C. McGinley.
John C. McGinley.
Oh, nice. See, way more than I knew.
I had the John C.
You did.
But I hear he's a great actor and a really good guy too.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he'd be a cool dude.
Because I even remember him in Wagons East with John Candy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch movies. I used to. Then I got older and I had to work in the real world.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also have we have Orlando Collector Deviants that we take care of. I have the Drinking Wish show, and we have a convention. So yeah, there's no free time.
None.
Yeah, well,
I can imagine you probably have no free time whatsoever. So that even makes you coming on the show that much better.
My free time is this. Like, I need to set, 2 hours aside to do this, or 2 hours aside to write a script, or, I get my enjoyment is this, not just sitting on the couch. I'd rather do this or write a script than do anything else, or play video games. So
Now, I was going to ask one question. I was going to ask you. I remember we got sidetracked earlier, and it just skipped my mind. Did you go to school for filmmaking, script writing, any of the stuff, or are you just all self-taught?
No, yeah, man. Like I said, I graduated in '94 and '95. Uh, I started doing the sidewalk cracks, and then I did that until I moved to Tampa in '99. And '99 we started improv, and improv uh, really honed my acting skills. I did one short film called Afterlife, which was a horror comedy action zombie movie, and then I did a couple other feature films, and then I went up to Second City. I had a goal, man. At 25, I wanted 3 feature films and to be on SNL. And I had 3 feature films, and I was at Second City. So I was like, man, I'm pretty fucking close to my goal.
Now,
You
how
know,
was your time at Second City?
short
I hear
lived.
all kinds. I
I
hear
wish
all
I could
kinds
have.
of stories.
I wish I could have been there longer. I wish I could have lived in Chicago longer. But I was young, man. I lived on my own. I didn't have a family to support me. Like I didn't have rich family. My parents are very poor. We grew up in a trailer and food stamps and that kind of stuff. And I was this kid from Ocala who basically lived life in this weird rural poor section that those kind of dreams are unattainable. You can't. That's not even think. Like when I told my parents like what I wanted to do, they were like, "That's not even a thing." And and I've just been doing it ever since, man. And you know, it's I don't know where I was going with all that. What was the question?
Now you answered. Um, Now one thing because we are coming up on the 10 o'clock hour. I got another question for you though.
Yep.
It
Oh,
advice that
school. You asked me if I was in school.
yeah,
No, I
if
didn't.
that's cool.
I didn't go to school. That wasn't a thing. In '95, there wasn't film schools. Maybe New York Film Academy, but that already had some shitty reputation around it. And, I didn't have money to do that. To me, that was like, I can't afford to go to college. I wait tables for a living now. Uh, and two, I had an apartment with like 6 roommates. So I could, my rent was like $100 a month. Uh, that I was like, there's no way I could afford to move to New York, which is the same reason why I didn't stay in Chicago. I couldn't afford it. And, uh, so I moved back to Florida. I had a very good friend of mine. She let me move in with her, or I was living with her at the time, and I went to Chicago for I don't know 8 months, a year, and came back. I basically left my shit at her house, and I came back, and you know it was pretty cool, man. But it was short lived, and I wish I could have made it work, but it doesn't. I don't think it didn't need to happen that way. Everything's working out the way it's supposed to be, which is how life is, I guess.
Now, any advice that you would give people, young filmmakers, writers, creators, producers, directors? Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, with you, I keep missing them, so I'm just trying to make
Well,
sure I get everything covered.
it's all right. I don't care, man. I'm very laid back.
So,
Uh,
any advice that you'd give anybody?
man, don't. Uh, you have to do all of it. You have to. First of all, it's a give and take. Understand that creatives, uh, yourself, your actors, your producers, your directors, your writers, whatever, everyone is going to have their own interpretation of the material. And you have to be willing to listen to other people's ideas because, like it or not, the entire process is collaborative. And you're better off finding a team you collaborate really well with than trying to do the shit all on your own, because it's almost impossible. And I'll never forget this conversation I had with Jonathan Hensley. He's the director of Punisher with Thomas Jane. They were shooting it in Tampa. And I just happened to be in downtown Tampa one night, and him and Galen Hurd were at the Hub. It's a real classy dive bar in Tampa. It's very well known. I don't drink, but I was out, and I often went there because all my friends were there all the time, and I'd go hang out with them, and um, just chill out and whatever. I don't drink because I've seen too many bad things to happen to people when they're drunk. And I was there, and Jonathan Hensley and Galen Hurd were there, and I just walked right up to him, and I said, "How's the Punisher going?" And he just kind of looked. He's a big, tall dude, and he's like, "Oh, it's good, man. It's going good." He's like, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm an actor, comedian. I'm doing improv, and I think I just got back from Second City or whatever." And he's like, "Well, what do you want to be?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, what do you want to be? A director, writer, producer?" I was like, "Well, I do all of it. I want to do all of it. I want to be a writer and a director and a producer and an actor." And he goes, "Well, just pick one thing and do that." And I looked at him, and I remember thinking, "You don't know shit." And that was it. That one moment was my defining moment in my life where I was like, "I'm not listening to this guy." And then the Punisher came out, and I was like, "I'm really not listening to this guy now." So in the opposite of what Jonathan Hensley told me, you got to do all of it. If you're going to make it, you have to do all of it, because one of those things is going to pay your bills while you're trying to do the other thing. So maybe being a producer will help you find money while you're trying to write your next script, or being a director will get you a job while you're trying to act in your next movie, or acting in a film will get you the next job to direct your next movie. So I recommend that you try to do all of it, because this day and age, there's too many independent filmmakers who do all of it for you to compete against, to not do all of it. You can't just act and wait for acting gigs. You have to make your opportunities, which is that's what I thrive at doing. I only act because I write the script, and I go out and I find the money, and I get the crew, and I make the movie, and then I get to act in front of the camera. Otherwise, I wouldn't be acting at all, because I've only, out of the millions of auditions I only land like 10% of them, maybe. I've auditioned 8 times. We're 3-4 weeks into September. I think I've already auditioned 2 that week, 2, 4, 6, 8 times. I've auditioned 8 times this month, and I haven't heard a thing from any of them. But I'm a writer. I'm a producer. So not only do I have 35 screenplays ready to go, I got about 15 decks that I've done ready to go to any possible investor who I meet. Because not a single one will pay your bills, but all of it might pay your bills. So I recommend doing all of it. You got to do all of it. If you're going to act, do improv. If you're going to write, take an improv class. If you're going to direct, take an improv class. It's all stems from improv. As an entertainer, I feel. Improv, that's where it's at.
Oh no, I mean, that's like the best advice I've ever had somebody give. I mean, I love it. I mean, if you're gonna do it all.
Yeah, because it's the only way you're going to make it, because you got to compete with guys like me. You got to compete with guys like Kevin Smith. Compete with originals.
He does it all too.
You got to compete with Roger Corman, and he did all of it for $100,000.
Now, when you are directing or producing, do you encourage ad libbing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a very loose set. I tell my actors that. Uh, I enjoy watching their process of figuring out their character as they're going, as much as I like my process of figuring out the character as we're going. Um, I think if you're more natural in the scene, it comes off more honest. So if if something's standing out in the scene, I might point it out, or I might, really just go off the cuff and add some dialogue that wasn't there because in the moment I feel like that's natural. It's right, and I encourage my actors to do the same thing. Sorority has a lot of improvising uh, with my actresses, with all the actors, and one a lot of credit I give to um uh oh my god, hold on, sorry, I gotta get my shit together here. Hold on.
No problem. Oh, we just lost him. Okay, no problem. You guys get me. We'll see if he comes back. If he gets back, we will continue. If not, this next weekend, Trish, what conventions do we got going on this next weekend? I know we got Retrorama up in Jacksonville on Sunday at the. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I went to hit a fucking tab and it closed the whole thing out.
No problem.
Sorry, idiot.
Save the night.
Hold on.
Last time he said hold on, he disappeared. So get ready for
I know. Sorry. But I'm trying to remember Chelsea. Okay. So what I was saying was improv, right? So I really love that kind of feeling. And to the credit of one of my actresses, Chelsea Jordan, who plays Morgan in Sorority, her improv skills was she would just let the scene go. And she would realize, like, when I was kind of going off of the script, and she would just react non-verbally. And she has, like, I think she has a couple of the best scenes in the movie where she actually didn't say her lines because her reactions are better than her dialogue. And that's quality acting because most actors want to say lines. Most actors want to be heard. And if you're willing to step back and drop some dialogue, that's the whole key of improv, which is to give, and that I love. That is, to me, she really like shines in the movie because her ability to allow the other characters to shine, and she would just be like, like, one of the characters in improv a really ridiculous line or something, and her character would just be like, so it's that's yeah, so I love it. I love when actors have the knowledge and the ability to uh know how to do proper improv. Yeah, do it, learn it. I tell everyone who wants to act or write, learn improv. Learn improv.
Well, I was
It
just
helped me
curious.
write 35 screenplays.
Well, I was just curious because I know I've heard stories. I'm
Yeah.
actually like, yeah, I know, but I've heard stories that some directors want no ad libbing. It is by the script and script only, and if you go off of it, that's a big no. So
I feel like those directors are everybody has their own style, and they might be someone who is so strict on the script because they're afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They're afraid to change the dialogue because they don't know the story. They don't know the characters. I think if you truly know the characters, you should be able to allow them to go anywhere within the universe you've created because you know what that character is going to do. And I
Yeah.
like I love my actors having that freedom to where they're not afraid to like drop a line in or not say a line or add an action that's not in the script. You know, I do that a lot too. I do like I said, I do a lot of improvising. So there's just things, man. When I walk into a scene, mine or somebody else's, I look at everything in the room because I want to see if there's something there I might want to interact with. You know, so I don't know. Is it the right way? Who fuck knows? I don't know. It's all art. It's all art. So I honestly feel like there's very limited rules to certain things.
Well, see, I like how you do it because you allow the actor to actually own the character. They actually
Yeah.
become the character. They're just not. It's not your character. It's their character.
No, man. I just created the universe they're living in. And I'm very forward with casting as well. I'm very quick to look at an actor and go, "That's the one. Move on. That's the one. Move on. I like that one. Move on." Uh, Whereas a lot of people want to watch them audition 5 or 6 times. I don't need to do that. I don't need to. Here's the scene I want to see them in. This is it. This is the character they auditioned. I like this one. Let's move forward. You know, and sorority, we got the movie stars 4 female leads who are pretty badass, and the characters are badass. We got probably 3,000 auditions out of LA. And I knew immediately when I saw when I saw Chelsea Jordan's audition, I was like, her. Because I would narrow it down. I would say, we get a wave in. Let's say we get in 30 at a time. I'd narrow it down to 10. And I'd send those to Roy, my partner. And he'd send me back his notes. And we only came at odds with one character. And then we just decided, well, we got to pick somebody. I like this one, you like that one. So that was the only time we had a callback is for that one character. And we just sent a different audition. I wrote a whole scene. Just wasn't anything to do with the movie. I just needed to see some more emotion. So I just wrote a scene that was like, paragraph long and, some interaction or something. And we sent that out to our call. We had like 4 or 5 people for this one role that we had called back with this bit of new dialogue. And after that, it was evident who we wanted. That was the only time I've ever for sorority that we didn't know who we wanted was that one character. But everybody else out of all the 10 characters in the movie or whatever was like that. We were like, yep, her, them, yep, want him, yep, oh, perfect, love him.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's sorry, my cat is so adorable.
It's okay.
Yeah,
you can have your cats. I have my dogs.
Yeah, well, I don't have cats. My wife has cats. I'm allowed to pet them.
I was gonna say, but
when they let you,
I think the cats have you. You don't really have the cats.
You're correct. We have one cat, Kit Kat, and she brings us a gift every day on our porch. And sometimes it's a field mouse, sometimes it's a full squirrel. Sometimes it's just the head of a mouse. But this is like every day now. So as it stands right now in my backyard, I have a squirrel, 2 mice, a mole, and 3 rats, all buried in my backyard from just like this last week.
See, you need to put them on little stakes to tell the other little
The other
squirrels
ones
and
to go
rats.
away.
Yeah.
Well, if I told you what I was really doing with them, you guys would think I'm super morbid, but I don't care. This stuff here. I made this here out of a skull we found in the woods, and then I engraved Viking runes on it and made a shield because my wife is Portuguese, and the family is Dutch. With they're very Viking. The whole family is very Viking. My wife's side. So I made this for my wife, and we have our whole house is kind of like this kind of macabre kind of thing. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm letting the squirrel and the mice and the mole decompose, and then I'll dig them back up, and I'll clean them, and then I'll do little mounts for the skulls. So
That's cool.
That's actually cool. I mean,
yeah,
as well.
I love doing stuff like that, and my wife is very much into. If she could live in the Adams family's house, that's where we would live, and I have no problem with that. So everything I do is to make her decor a little better.
So they're exactly kind of like Scott and Amber.
Who are they?
Scott Fenster that was talking with us earlier. Yeah, they're
Nice.
they kind of base their family around the Adams family.
Yep.
We even for their wedding gift we got them one of our artist friends that we had. We actually drew them as Gomez and Morticia.
I would love that. My daughter, my 6-year-old Alexa, she is obsessed with the Adams family. Obsessed. If you just looked at my Facebook page or Instagram, you'll see tons of pictures of her in very macabre outfits and makeup. She does it all herself. Today, we're getting ready. She's in 1st grade. She comes out of the bedroom and she has drawn the red lines from it down her face and made the smile, and she's got her hair all done up. And we're like, "You're going to school?" And she's like, "The teacher said I could wear this." And we're like, "No, she didn't."
No.
Yeah.
See, that's Lally. That's their daughter.
Yeah, that's exactly her.
Their daughter. She's what, maybe 6 now, 5 or 6. Her doll that she carried around, went to bed with, was Chucky. Literally,
my
Chucky.
daughter's obsessed with Chucky.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's because I'm very good friends with Alex Vincent. He and I work out of the same studio. We have a podcast called The Final Note together. She considers Alex her uncle. So like everything is Chucky for her. Everything.
So yeah, when you're at Phantasm, you're gonna have to meet up with Scott and Amber over there because you guys
can't
are
wait.
like the same exact people, all the way down to the kids. So yeah,
it's gonna be fun, man. I'm gonna have a good time there. I can't wait because I was just at Sinister in Miami. And that was a good time. And a few people, same celebrities were in Miami, are going to be at Phantasm. Poncho is going to be there. He might be the only one, actually, I think, now that I think about it. So,
well, like I said, you'll meet them because, like I said, they became the official podcast of the show. And
yeah.
Boris is actually on Saturday night he is hosting Trolls 2.
Okay.
Hosting Trolls 2 there, and yeah. But just talking with you tonight, I'm surprised Scott hasn't even got you over on his podcast Monster Manor yet.
Well, I'm down.
I'm gonna say probably after tonight you'll probably be hearing from him.
Sweet.
But remember, Scott, when you see this, I had him first. Okay.
Yeah, Scott.
See,
I've been
and I
manhandled by better men, Scott.
exactly. If it wasn't for Austin,
Right. True.
dude,
Good point.
no,
A
yeah,
lot of
I'm going
respect
to
for
tell you, Austin kept saying, "You guys got to have him. You want him? I can get you him." And it's like, okay, Austin, we'll get
Dude, I
him.
love Austin. Like I said, man, Austin's one of those guys. Like, I wrote a feature film we're trying to get $2 million for. I wrote a role for Austin in that movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I knew he could do it. So I wrote it specifically for him. And, hopefully if we don't shoot it this year, we're going to certainly shoot it next year. I mean, we're getting, and, with COVID and everything, it's all crazy. People are doing crazy things.
Well, that was
So,
I know it's past 10 o'clock, but that was one of my other questions I was going to ask you. How did COVID interrupt you, or how did you guys handle the year of COVID?
well, I got funding to make a movie, and we shot the movie last. It's been a year. We shot the movie. We shot the movie about this time last year. Through October into November. I got home. Actually, into December. I got home December 20th of last year. And then in January, everything went to shit again. And our editor got COVID, and he was out for 3 months. I got COVID. Our Roy got COVID, and that was all after we were done shooting. Like we had to do while we were shooting. You had every person on set, all your actors, all your crew had to do a COVID test every week. We had to hire a COVID compliance officer who stayed on set all day checking temperatures. If anyone left and came back, you have to check your temperature. You got to sign in. You had to wear your masks. If you weren't in front of the camera, you had to wear your mask at all times. And we had some friction with some people, me and a couple of the actresses, because I didn't want to jump off scene and go look at footage and have to put my mask on, to take my mask off, to go back to makeup, to go back to set so I could be in front of the camera again. I was like, it's stupid. I can't walk from there to here and not put a mask on. I'm 20 feet, So I was kind of like an asshole a little bit about it in the beginning, because I was like, it's stupid. We're wasting so much time. Just the actors getting, cut. Let's take 10 minutes. Now all your actresses put the mask on to go sit down, and then you get done and they take them off. Now they got to go to makeup again because they got lines across their makeup and shit. And it was ridiculous. And we just had a lot of issues with the compliance of that. But once we kind of all got past that, it was smooth sailing. And now, and it really helped us out a lot because Hollywood shut down. Hollywood shut down from shooting because of COVID. They're still shut down, basically. And now they're about to have a strike. The union, IATSE and SAG, are all about to have a strike over fees and payment from streaming services. So I think in like a week, there's going to be a massive strike. They're going to stop all productions, which is going to allow us to allow Sorority to come out even further. We're already ahead of the game because there's not going to be much out in the theaters next year in October when we release Sorority. There's nothing being made. And if they go on strike, there's not going to be anything made until they resolve the strike. So go on strike. Yeah, go on strike, please, because you're going to allow our movie to jump all the way to the front.
Hey, whatever helps.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sucks because I want to be in the industry. I want to be to that point where I'm like unionized and I'm like, yeah, let's strike. Fuck these fuckers, But right now I'm like, yeah, go ahead, guys. I got you. Okay, guys, bring our movie in. Bring our movie in.
Okay, so it's coming
Yeah.
on 10:30, so we
Yep.
better get ready to call it quits. At the end of the show, where we talk about where everybody's going to see us next. So where can people see you next?
At the convention, I'll be at Phantasm October 1st through 3rd, as a guest, and then we're going to be shooting some of South of Central there. After that, it's basically the holidays. I'm going to have a baby in December, so I don't. And then in March, I'm going to Germany to work with my really good friend Timo Rose, who's a horror filmmaker there. This will be my third feature with him. I'm starring in a movie for him called Hell on Earth, which is about a fumbling security guard, this guy, and who happens to get locked in a building full of werewolves. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's going to be fun, man.
Werewolves are
Timo,
just cool.
if you haven't seen Timo's movies, you should check him out. He's got some really good film. He's a German horror filmmaker. You should look at he's got Barricade as one, and then he's got Fear Makers and Beast and a few other ones. He just finished one called Fucky, which is about a demonic bear, a stuffed animal bear, a teddy bear. And then we're doing Hell on Earth in March. So that's going to be pretty cool, man. It'll be pretty fun. And then I'm hoping at some point I'm doing Attack of the Fish People, which is my big one. But if we don't do it, if we don't get funded for it this, I'll say next year, but I mean in like the next 6 months, we'll just push it off until after the release of Sorority and do it with our own money. So that's the goal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm attacking the fish people. That just sounds cool.
Yeah, think of like Critters meets Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
Small town in the middle of the desert, just happens to get attacked by a bunch of fish people. They're not in the water. There's no water. They're actually created by these iodized crystals that are found in a cave, and when you touch them with your bare hands, you get infected, and you don't know if they're quite alien or indigenous to the area, because like a cenote, I don't know if you know, there are bodies of water that have evaporated, right? The desert's full of them. Basically, I'm basing it on that. There was a cenote that dried up a long time ago. There's a cave now. There's these crystals in this cave that this archaeologist finds. He touches one. His partner's there. This dude doesn't transform. He just kind of melts like RoboCop. At the end of RoboCop there. He just melts into this blob, and the other archaeologist is like, what the fuck? So they go off and they call some experts in from this Las Vegas University. They call in some paleontologists, archaeologists, crystallologists, and they come in to investigate, and all hell breaks loose. So
yeah, that's a definite gonna watch.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. And we would have been shooting it already, but our investors who invested in Sorority and gave us all the money to do Sorority, we're going to do the same thing. But there was a major COVID outbreak in their company, and 20 of their employees got COVID at one time. So they're like, we need to pump the brakes for a minute and wait a little bit before we do anything else. So we're like, all right, that makes sense.
Well, at least when they come back, there's 20 people that can't get COVID then.
Right, exactly. We're just waiting around, and until then I'm going to shoot South of Central season 2 and go shoot a movie in Germany in March. See what happens.
Okay. Well, for us, I know this weekend is Retrorama up in Jacksonville. And then it's what's the toy show? Spring Hill Toy Show going on in Spring Hill. Both of those are on Sunday. there anything on Saturday this weekend?
There's also the Star Wars.
Star Wars Collectors Fest here in Orlando.
Suncoast Fan Fest.
Suncoast Fan Fest in Bradenton.
And Necronomicon in St. Petersburg.
And Necronomicon in St. Pete. Okay,
Wait,
so
there's a
there's
convention right this weekend in St. Pete.
Yep, and
You
it's
think
actually
I-
kind of it's a horror convention.
You think I know about that?
Oh, yeah, because they're actually a yearly. I mean, they're like been around for a
Well,
while.
Oh well, maybe I'll look them up. Maybe I'll just swing by.
Here we go.
Well, Trish is gonna tag it down there in the. So later on, if you want, you can just Necronomicon. They're in St. Pete. Like I said, they hold it every year. Then next week we will be, because I don't know what we're doing this weekend. I'm still up in the air if we're going to go to Spring Hill Toy Show or if we're going to go to Retrorama up in Jacksonville. Because can't do both of them because they're on the same day.
Where are you guys in Orlando?
We're in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah.
So, hence Orlando Collector Deviants. You know.
Right. That makes sense.
But then the next weekend, while Phantasm's going on, we're going to be doing that Saturday. We double booked that weekend. So that Saturday, we're going to be in West Palm, down south at PalmCon. And it's the 10th anniversary of PalmCon going on. And then we're going to come back Saturday night, and then we're going to hit Phantasm on Sunday. So we can.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'll be there. It'd be nice to see you.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice to meet you in person too. Okay, so don't take off. I'm going to do the outro, and we'll talk for a couple minutes before we head off. Because a lot of people like we're done, so they leave. Like we can still talk for a couple minutes after.
Yeah.
So until and in 2 weeks, because next week I take the week off with the podcast. In 2 weeks we will have
David
Barbie, who is an author, and I just finished one of his books, and it's really good. So we'll talk about that and some of his other books that he's wrote. And so until next time, guys, take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.